This is Colin Dixon with nScreen Media, and I'm speaking with Diane Strutner, who is CEO and founder of Datazoom. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Colin. Thank you.
And you are in a really interesting space because I think one of the big changes in 2020 was we've seen a real change, I think, in attitude of the way video providers online are putting together their solutions. A lot of video providers have been opting with single provider solutions, single provider video platforms. But we now have really television providers and a lot of big providers who are stepping in and really wanting to take ownership of that stack and look for best of breed. But there is a price to be paid for that, and that is data. It's much more difficult to get hold of the data when you have multiple vendors in your stack. That's where Datazoom comes in, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, Datazoom, we're a video data platform. So our role in all of this is to capture, standardize, enrich, and deliver data from across the end-to-end workflow of video. And we've really started in the client space by helping broadcasters and media companies to better capture data that comes from the client side and from the video player. So we've kind of started by building out telemetry systems, SDKs, and libraries for commonly used players and platforms in the video space.
And I think probably one of the most important things that you do is, well, you help define the right measurement set. And the second thing is that you define the format in which that measurement set appears, right?
Yeah, so one of the challenges that's existed in our industry is trying to figure out how we can get apples to apples measurement across the different tools that we use. So something that Datazoom does differently is our platform is looking at the raw data and events that are exposed by the video player and then doing the undifferentiated heavy lifting of standardizing that data from across all of these different sources so that when we go to analyze it, we have a standardized set of data that a data analyst can use to build out their own insights and metrics and understanding of what's been happening with the user experience or user behavior coming from the player. So our focus on raw data and building a data standard in our data dictionary really stands us apart from our competition.
Right, and you work with a lot of the analysis tools on the other side, right? So you have the collector set, which is the clients, and as we'll get to in just a second, the CDN. And on the other side is your connectors, which connect to those analysis platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so we see ourselves as a data pipeline. So our customer cannot use our platform without designating a third-party destination for their data. So a lot of the places where customers want to send their data are places where they're already sending other data sets. So places like Splunk, Google Analytics, BigQuery to then use solutions like Looker, or back to an S3 bucket so they can correlate with their own internal cloud logs. Those are all destinations where customers or we built integrations and where customers can direct their data once it's been kind of processed by our platform in real time.
Right. Now, one of the big black holes, I think, for many providers is the CDN. We often find ourselves in a position, I think, in the industry where we pretty much have to trust what the CDN is telling us about the delivery. And debugging what's going on, figuring out where the problem is often stops at that CDN boundary. But you have a new announcement with Amazon that's giving us some visibility into their CloudFront CDN, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, the challenge actually exists on both sides. What will happen today is that telemetry and metrics about the user experience will appear to say one thing, and the logs from a CDN might tell a different story. And so what this, something that was innovated in the industry in 2020 was the publication of this common media client data spec, which allows us to start to tie together data from the video player with data from CDN, such as Amazon CloudFront. So leveraging some of the foundations of this spec and using a session identifier that's passed between these two sources. Part of what we've built and innovated and worked with Amazon to do is enable Amazon CloudFront customers to send their logs to Datazoom's endpoint to then be standardized across CDN logs from other CDNs such as Fastly and Lumen, and then deliver a standardized set of not only CDN logs, but also player data that's tethered together to a third-party endpoint to really start to do more fruitful root cause analysis. So the challenge we have today is essentially we don't have enough data to get to causation. Bringing the CDN data together with player data is a huge step forward from only having one source of data, such as just the player experience information. So this will allow both sides to actually come to an agreement on, hey, when, for example, my buffering ratio increased, I can attribute this to a specific change in state on the CDN causing that problem.
So that was exactly what I was going to ask you about. Can you give us an example of how I might use that? So that's one really, really good example. Can you maybe give us another one?
Yeah. So another example could be if you are, let's say a lot of users are trying to log on to a platform at the same time, you could have really poor video startup times. It could be systems from the application layer that are having errors that are thus impacting the experience data we're getting from the video player. There's alignment of actually a lot of data sets that the industry should be doing. It extends from the video player to the client package layer, back down to the CDN and origin services, and even back into even some of the encoding services as well. Another one that is interesting is sometimes you'll see users that all drop off of a stream at the same time. And you could say that it could be disinterest, but usually there's a bell curve. If they're all dropping off in specifically the same time, you might go check and actually do a visual view of that piece of content, because maybe you find there's a ton of macro blocking that's gone on. So it would never be picked up from the player telemetry. It wouldn't be a CDN delivery problem. But looking at different places, you can see that I know that it wasn't a CDN delivery problem, and thus it must be even further up my stack.
So it sounds like providers that are looking for a better visibility on their video streaming experiences, they really should be talking to Datazoom, right?
That's right. Yeah, we our mission is to help capture data from across the end-to-end workflow of video, and we're excited to work with partners on helping them achieve their goals for observability and optimization.
Very good. So that sounds great. Well, I hopefully you'll come back and talk to us as you fill out this data ecosystem that we need to drive our business, Diane.
Yes, that would be great. We'd love to come back again.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. This has been Colin Dixon with nScreen Media.